Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to a very special Ramble. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. I asked him last week. We got a ton of some really interesting questions. I'm generally going to stay away. I apologize in advance. I'm generally going to stay away from the would you rather have fingers for nipples or nipples for fingers type question. There might be an odd couple in there. But there's some really good serious questions. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for all the feedback from last episode. It's a weird situation, sort of, when I always want to say thank you to you guys. I'm always like, find a way to say thank you, but I'm wary of, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to think people are thinking I'm going for this sort of sympathy boat or something like that. Because when I talk about, real life stuff, I tend to get a bit emotion. And I hope it doesn't sort of come across that way. That's why I sort of tend to not talk about it, because I can't talk about it without getting a bit emotional. I'm just looking for my notepad here. So it's a bit, I have to be careful with it. I don't mind getting emotional. I'm not bothered about people knowing I cry, or indeed my porn habits, apparently. But, that sort of stuff. Right, okay. Let's get into the questions. This is a couple of really sweet questions. And thank you for everybody that upvoted the questions they liked, because that's really, really useful. How many comments we got on this? 237 comments. I don't think I'm going to make it through all, but we'll give it a good go, my friends. So the first one's really interesting. It says, where do you see yourself in 5 years, both on YouTube and off it? Love the Ramble. You're one of the most genuine guys I know. Thank you, Matthew. I would put the questions over there, but just can't be asked. I'd have to take a screenshot, save it, put it there. Oh, I can read. You can hear me. We don't need it, do we? Right? Okay. 5 years. It's quite specific, actually. I have long-term plans. In 5 years' time, I want to be living in a small house with a nice chunk of land. In England somewhere, maybe South Wales, depending on how cheap the housing we can get is, with Curly and our dogs and a bunch more of dogs that we're looking after. My plans of having an old person's home for dogs, a nice retirement home, if you will, for dogs. Maybe having 4, 5, 6 more dogs at any one time, and also doing some behavioural therapy stuff as well. And as part of that, my plans for YouTube would be, in that sort of period, I would be uploading to this channel still every day. It might not be 2 a day. It might, at that point, be 1 a day, whether I have a series on the go and a couple of extra videos or whatever it is. But also uploading regularly on the dog channel. Link is in the description. It will get going in about a month's time. It's just Curly's injured. And doing lots of vlogs with the dogs and doing training and dog pet reviews and cats as well and all that sort of stuff, and doing all the sort of, maybe sort of 2 or 3 times a week doing videos on that channel as well. And that's how I make my money. And then what I do make goes into looking after dogs, and then also still doing live streaming a couple of times a week, but also doing lots of money raising, charity fundraising for local charities, dog and pet charities and stuff like that. Like I've always said, don't care about being rich, don't care about cars and big houses. Just want to be comfortable and then look after animals. That's kind of me and Curly's dream. So that's kind of where I'd like to be in 5 years. If you could tell a life advice to a 22-year-old Loki, what would you say? From Jusso Trainen. We'll go for it. What was I doing at 22? At 22, I was living in Jersey in the Channel Islands, and I was an accountant making a shit ton of money and hating it. I would tell my 22-year-old self not to panic. Not because for those sort of between the ages of 16 when you leave school and sort of 30-ish, I worried that I hadn't found my career. All my friends at this point had careers, jobs they were doing 5, 6 years, and I was kind of going from job to job, career to career, not really enjoying it. And I was starting to go, what's wrong with me? That I should have sort of settled into a career, and accountancy is a fantastic career, but I fucking hated it. And to not force myself, it'll happen, and this is advice to anyone, it'll happen when it happens. You'll find something one day, maybe when you least expect it, that you go, shit, this is my thing. It might be because you see knitting on the channel and go, fuck, on the TV and go, oh, okay, knitting is my thing. I'm going to knit and sell my stuff on eBay or whatever. So don't worry that you haven't worked out what you want to do with your life. It could happen at any point. It doesn't matter if it takes a few years longer. You'll get there eventually and all that sort of good stuff. That's my advice to myself. What television fictional character would you most like to live the life of? E.g. a Del Boy, happy-go-lucky wheeler dealer, or a Luther, a crime fighter, or a Doctor Who, a time traveller. You can choose whoever you want and why. Oh, Sam Dilks, that is a question and a half. I'll give you my... There's probably tons of really good ones, but my first thing that popped into my head was I'd like to be one of the characters from Stargate. Now, if for those of you that watch the series, alien invasion destruction is probably not the happiest time to live. But being able to have a big hole in the wall that means you can go anywhere and discover new places would be pretty damn cool, I think. You can have a mate called Tilk with a little gold thing on his head and stuff like that, and cool guns. Yeah, I want one of those staff that opens up and shoots, something like that. Don't want any of those snaky things in my head, though. Right, for those that haven't watched Stargate, I'm sorry, Google it. Oh my God, what were the best 5 minutes of your life and the 5 worst? German game news. Best 5 minutes of my life. Every time I have sex. Sad but true. Also the worst. No, best 5 minutes of my life. I really don't know. This makes for a fun video. Let me just think about it and ponder a while. The worst 5 minutes is easy. When my mum phoned me to tell me that she had cancer was, easily the worst 5 minutes of my life. And that's when it sucks most living in Northern Ireland and she's in England and stuff. So the best 5 minutes up there was her telling me a couple of years later that she was clear. But much like with cancer, clear is not necessarily, all done. It's kind of, okay, clear, but I have to have checkups every 3 months and make sure because there's a high chance it will come back sort of thing. And luckily it hasn't. Also, I'll give you the sort of best 5 minutes of my YouTube life as well. I think I was doing a yearly review for myself on YouTube. I'd done it for a year, and I saw that I'd had good growth and stuff like that. And I was looking at the numbers and stuff after a year of doing YouTube, and I was like, and it suddenly dawned on me that I could actually make this a living. I wasn't at the time. I was not close, but it was kind of like my growth is showing that in another 8 months, 9 months, I might be able to make this my full-time job. And that was amazing because, like I've told you guys before, when I started YouTube, I did it obviously, as you should, completely because I thought it'd be fun. I saw FM existed on YouTube and I was like, this looks fun, I'll give it a go. And within a week, I was like, I fucking love this. I'm doing this for a living. And that was tunnel vision to get that done. And when I realised it was now a possibility, that was pretty damn epic. Tyler Davison, Q&A classic question. Who was better, Scholes, Gerrard or Lampard? And why is obviously Scholes? Well, it's Gerrard, isn't it? It's clearly Slippy Gerrard. What is your most embarrassing moment? I'm not that easily embarrassed, to be honest. Most embarrassing moment. I don't think I have one. Nothing that really stands out. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but there really isn't nothing totally horribly embarrassing. I haven't shit myself in the street or anything. There's nothing totally embarrassing that's happened. I think I'm all right on that front. Apologies for the shit answer. That was awesomeness. 112. How many hats, beanies do you actually own? Seems like far too many, in my opinion. You can't have far too many. That's incorrect. Do your dogs just keep eating them or something? That's from James Smith. I only own about 25-ish. 25, I think, something like that. I had about, when I first started YouTube, I had about 5, and then they've just grown. Not the beanies, because that would not fit. But yeah, about 25, I think. Graham Arthur asks, do you have any plans to do any more meetups like the one you did in Nottingham? I do have plans for a meetup. It's something a bit special, and I know it's going to be a tiny minority of people. And that is to do a meetup in Amsterdam later this year. I like Amsterdam. I do mind the odd bit of smokage, right? And it's just, forget, even aside from the smoking, Amsterdam's just a beautiful place. The atmosphere is so good. People are so relaxed. And there's a really nice campsite in Amsterdam called Camp Zeeburg. And I've stayed there about 3 times, and it's brilliant, and it's chilled, and it's cool, and it's just outside. You get the tram straight into the city centre, and it's cheap. And what I was thinking of doing a meetup because people have said, let's do a meetup, that'd be really funny. And I was like, I don't want to sort of arrange a meetup and then nobody turns up, because that's a high chance, because it's a lot of money to go to Amsterdam and stay there and buy drinks and stuff. So me and Curly talked about it. I was like, okay, what we can do is we can book, because they've got little cabins in this campsite. We can book a cabin, and I'll just let everyone know when I'm there, and then anyone that does want to come along can also book. We'll book it up way in advance. So we're going to be booking it relatively soon, probably for about sort of September-ish time. But I'll let you guys know as soon as we book it. And then, because then I thought, well, if nobody turns up, me and Curly will have a lovely weekend anyway. And then if 3 people turn up, it'll be even better. We just have a relax, we'll have a smoke. You don't have to smoke if you don't smoke. That's fine. But we'll have a relax, play a bit of cards, go for a wander around the streets, just hang out and chat, play a bit of FM, all that sort of good stuff. So, yeah, that's the plan. But I'll let you guys know when we have more details. So Zico Siva asks, are you going to do any other saves on FM, or are you going to do the same other saves just like last year? So my plan is to carry on the Journeyman and Altrincham. There's no set time for those. That they'll play until what they feel like comes to a natural end, right? And so, that's usually a couple of months away probably, and then I like to do the sort of back end of the Football Manager game. I like to do something a bit different and something a bit interesting. Like last year we did the flipped league. So it might be something like that. It might be some sort of maybe European Super League with an edited database where all the top teams are in this giant pyramid league system, and maybe work our way up for that. Something a bit different, because everybody's played a ton of FM by that point. They're getting a little bit bored of the normal saves, so something like that might be fun. But I have no idea when that'll happen. When did you fall in love with football or Championship Manager and football itself? I did. My dad was, when I was a kid, my dad was really into computers. So we had all the old computers. We had the original Atari games console. We had an Atari ST and a Commodore and a Spectrum, all that sort of stuff. And I did have the original Championship Manager that my dad played a little bit, was never that into it. But I saw and played a little bit of, and then it was maybe like the 3rd or 4th edition that I really got into it myself, and then every year since. So a long time, 20 odd years, which is scary. Are you good at cooking? Oh, sorry, that was from Ben N. So Samuel Larson asks, are you good at cooking? Yeah, I'm a pretty good cook. I don't enjoy it that much, so it's not something I go, oh, what amazing recipe should I bang up today? But, like Curly's birthday is today, and so I'm making a nice roast dinner because that's her favourite. So yeah, I'm all right cooking. I'll keep myself alive. Sam also asks, have you ever considered doing vlogs? If so, do more. Not really. My life isn't that interesting. My vlogs would be me talking about the videos that I'd made today. I put a lot of hours into YouTube and streaming and stuff, so that's kind of my life. I tend not to travel about more. I think what'll happen is when we get the dog channel going and stuff like that, and we start the rescue centre and the old dog zone, is that I'll do more vlogs then. Maybe, it'll be once a week thing, because we'll have lots more interesting stories with the dogs and everything. And they'll be revolving mainly around the dogs and the cats and stuff. So no plans to do a daily vlog. I couldn't be asked with all that, to be honest. But there will be a bit more vlogging. And like things like the meetup and stuff that I'll definitely be vlogging. And if I go anywhere interesting to do with Football Manager or gaming, then I'll do vlogs. underdogs, but just as little odd ones. Okay. Wenger in or Wenger out? Wenger out, clearly. Clearly, Wenger out. Should have been Wenger out a year and a half ago, shouldn't it? Bless him. That was from Dominic Silvestrini. Tobbs Gaming 18 asked, where do you think Liverpool will finish this season in all competitions? I think we're going to finish third in the league. I think Man United might just edge us this season, but I think we'll finish a comfortable third in the league. And I think, well, we're going to beat Porto. Semi-finals of the Champions League. We could win it. Like, I know we're outside favourite, outside chances of actually winning it. But, we can give any team a good run. We showed it against Man City that if a team, we struggle most against the teams that sit back. But if you've got a team like Man City that came out attacking, we're like, yes, please. This is going to be fun. And those games can end up either winning 5-3 or losing 5-3 or 6-all draw or something like that. So even against... we're obviously not favourites against a team like Real Madrid or Barcelona, but we'll give them a fucking game, and there's a 25% chance we'll get through over 2 legs. So, but I'll say I'll be realistic and go semi-finals, third in the league. That would be a very good season for me. We're making massive progress, so I'm very, very happy with that. Okay. Oh, okay. Question from Ben Ward. Do you have any regrets over starting your YouTube channel? E.g., are there opportunities that you have missed out on a result of starting your channel? No regrets. Not one for a millisecond. I have 0 regrets because, as I was saying earlier, it wasn't like I was giving up a cool career that I enjoyed. Like, for those that don't know, before YouTube, I was playing poker online part-time, and I was also doing small business consultancy. So generally online companies, internet companies that started up, and I'd just sort of give them directions, maybe help out ones that are struggling, give them a few tips on how to grow. I've started a couple of my own companies alongside working with others and stuff. And so, but I did enjoy that. And that's probably, if YouTube didn't exist, that's probably where I would have gone, maybe starting my own little consultancy firm or something like that to help out small businesses. It's really fulfilling. But since I started YouTube, it was just this is the most fun thing ever. I absolutely fucking love it. Get started. No regrets whatsoever. But good question. Thank you, Ben. It's weird because I've never really done a proper Q&A. I've done one, which was in Amsterdam. Okay. What hides underneath that beanie, you beautiful man? Should I show you? Okay, I'll show you, but for 5 seconds, all right? Okay, you happy now? That's why it's just so hard to maintain. All right, I know how Fellaini feels because this is really hard to maintain. So, right, it's weird that I have a wig on hand. I mean, sorry, not wig. I mean my hair. My hair's there. Okay. There's also, in between all the Q&A questions, there are lots of really nice comments, so thank you guys. Sorry, that was NEQ or Nuke. Okay, brilliant. My God, there's a lot of questions. What hobbies do you have? YouTube. It's killed all my hobbies. But YouTube is a hobby as well as a job anyway. I love it, as I've said 600 times. But before YouTube, I was still really into Games Workshop and tabletop miniatures, more so collecting and painting than actually playing the games. I'd been collecting on and off since I was 11 years old, but I didn't sort of, it's really expensive nowadays. And I was a Warhammer Fantasy player, and Age of Sigmar just hurt me. It just I don't want to talk about it. They just changed the rules, and they killed off my favourite army. There's all these different armies that you can collect. One of them's called Tomb Kings, and they just killed them off. Don't sell them anymore. Brilliant. No rules for them. You can't use them. Bastards. And about a month ago, I bought myself some Skaven, which are like little rat dudes, right? I thought, I'll get back into it. Any little bit of time I've got off, I'll start collecting a bit of Skaven. Haven't even opened the box. No, I have opened the box because I just looked at the sprues and went, yeah, okay, cool. I'll do that one day. Just haven't had enough time. Other than that, it's all about the animals. Love spending time with the animals, dog walking, messing about in the garden with the cats as well, and playing with the cats. Yeah, just animals in general. Going to be doing lots of that, more of that in future years. But thank you, Adam. Lots of people saying they're going to cry. Cancer Plays, will you ever be doing any brand deals? Yes, I have done a couple in the past. Like two, didn't I? I did one for Game, the online store and physical store, where they basically just paid me £200. But they were really clever because a lot of people have trouble with YouTube when they're just shilling stuff, or they're just selling some random crappy app or program or game that no one likes, a shit game. And what Game did is that they came to us and said, become a Game sellout. So you've got a big T-shirt with sellout on, and you have to make fun of the fact that you're selling out for Game, for advertising Game. And that was quite cool. And got paid a couple £100 for it. I've also done a little brand deal for Predictor, the website, which is like fantasy football, but much simpler. All you do is predict the results of each games that week, and then you get a points table, and there's prizes, and you can also bet real life money if you want to. I will do brand deals, but I'm very particular. I turn down a ton. I turn down an absolute ton. I've done two, as you can imagine. I've been offered probably, 30, 40 by now, whether that's games or whatever it is. Because I'll only do it if I believe in the actual thing that I'm doing. Like I said, I'm not a money grabber, so I'm not desperate to make extra cash. I'm building a nice base here, and thanks to you guys on Patreon and stuff like that, and the ad revenue and the streams. So I don't need to do stuff. If somebody comes to me with a really cool product, then I'll think about it. Why not? Because it serves both of us. As you probably know from me by now, if I was to ever do a brand deal, I would plaster the whole fucking video with, this is a paid advertisement. I'm not going to try and be scummy and not really mention it or whatever. There is one deal I'm trying to get, which is for a new computer. Not going to get it like wholesale. Like they're not, I'm not a big enough channel for some big company to give me an actual computer. But to get a discount, I'm looking to upgrade my gaming PC, because I need a second PC that I can do the rendering on while recording on another PC. It would massively speed up my workflow and stuff like that. So that's an ongoing discussion. So hopefully there might be some, an ad or two that I'll talk to you about what's going on, maybe an unboxing, that sort of thing. So hopefully that will go through, but I'll let you guys know if and when that comes about. Thank you very much. Costas Silly asks, what music are you into? Favourite artists? I don't listen to much music nowadays, not so much anymore. When I was working full time and commuting to work, that's when I listened to music, and now I don't. So my artists are all old school. My favourite artist of all time is Queen, because they are the best band. If you disagree, you are wrong. And but I do love Foo Fighters. They're probably my next up. Anything like that, old rocky stuff, because I'm so old. We don't like all these Justin Biebers and stuff. What is the best ever Football Manager save ever, online or personal save? That's from the Custard Prophet. Hello, mate. I've always loved Football Manager and playing Football Manager saves. I've done everything, Pentagon challenges from lower leagues to journeyman, to all this sort of stuff. But ever since I started doing it on YouTube, it's just made it so much more fun. So it's definitely going to be a YouTube save. And it was probably, for the whole of it, last year's Journeyman. FM17's Journeyman was just epic. The adventure, it had a lovely flow to it. Started off small and the Harry Owen thing and continuing that through and it finishing up where it did. If you've got guys who've got a bit of spare time, I know it's like 172 episodes, so, you know, it's a good 80 hours of viewing pleasure, but it's worth a watch if you haven't done it. It was a brilliant save. We did lots of silly stuff. Tons of people got involved, and it really helped blow up my channel, really. So that's definitely my favourite. Gaudy Boy. I love the nicknames you give to your players and the pronunciation of your player. Always perfect, the pronunciations of your player names. My favourite is the Pascals. Cracks me up every time. What are your favourites? I think just because I love saying it, it's got to be Yoshimitsu Iwaki. It's got to be. It's got to be Iwaki. Oh, still miss him. Right. Okay. Next question. Did I say who said that? That was Gaudy Boy. I probably said that. Right. That's done. Oh, here's an interesting one. Daniel Nyborg, have you ever considered to stream an old version of FMCM? If yes, which one would you choose? I've been asked this a few times. No. I think there's a lot of that sort of, that game was, do you remember CMO 102? Oh, what a game that was. And they were. And I feel like if I go back, I'm just going to go, what the fuck is this shit? That's the problem. And it might be like an odd stream. You could do something as an odd stream, but definitely not as a long-term save, because it would just do you nutting, because you'd miss so much of the modern stuff that you'd be going, oh, God, why can't I talk to my players and stuff like that? So probably not. Flo Hossen. Have you ever been to Germany? No. Tag. Oh, how do I pronounce that? Tag Doncha. I've murdered that. Apologies, mate. Why did you move to Northern Ireland in the first place? I met Curly online, and she lived in Northern Ireland, so I packed up my bags and moved here. What are we up to? Bloody hell, 27 minutes. I can talk. We'll do a couple more. Why did you move to Northern Ireland? Because Curly was here. Brilliant. Smashed that one. Thank you, Ross. Oh, okay. This is a good one. Connor Creature, how do you feel about the whole idea that certain dog breeds are naturally more aggressive or violent and should be banned? Pit bulls, staffies, etc. No. No. Because the thing is with those breeds in particular is that the type of people that like them, not all of, obviously not everyone that owns a staffy or a pit bull or whatever likes them, is an idiot. But those like, right, invisible wheelbarrow guys, right, walking down the street, they're not gonna get a poodle, right? They're gonna get a staffy because it looks hard, and they don't look after him, and they want them to be angry at things, and like if you look at any proper websites on dogs that talk about dog breeds and what they're like and their personalities, you'll find out that staffies are like one of the best family dogs you can get. Admittedly, like with certain breeds, they have more powerful jaws or sharper teeth, or they don't let go when they grab something and stuff, and that's more inbuilt to the dog. But I think aggressiveness is generally, occasionally, of course, there's going to be in the DNA of some dogs, they're just going to be naturally aggressive, but I don't believe that in breeds. I believe that is more the occasional dog that's the way that dog is built. Like humans, some people are really angry. But as a breed, I think it's more to do with the people that own them and how they treat them is what breeds that aggression into the dogs. Simulator. Have you thought about doing a GoFundMe page for your dog's home that you want to set up? Very interesting question. No. It's going to be completely run as a non-profit, but I'm going to probably, the dog channel will have its own Patreon. I think that might be the best way to do it. And then also all the ad revenue from that goes to the dog home as well, looking after. Because the biggest problem we have with starting a nurse, an old people's home for dogs, is vet expenses. That's where the killer is. Because, if we get lots of 12-year-old dogs in, there's going to be a shit ton of vet bills going on. So the idea is, hopefully, that the ad revenue from the pet channel and any money from the Patreon, and also any extra money I earn, all my money will be going to it. Once I've bought a house, with Curly, and we're paying the bills, all the extra money will go into doing this thing. And then what we'll do also, if there's like an overflow from, we'll build up a nice big sort of bank account of maybe £10,000-20,000 for vet bills. But once we've got that, what we might then do is any extra money raised each month, we give it to local pet charities and stuff like that to help them out. George Graham, it's good. If you had to live in one game universe, what game universe would you live in and why? Game universe. Leisure Suit Larry. No. Google it if you're young. Do I want to go? See, my thoughts are: do I want to go somewhere that's potentially dangerous? Like, I love fantasy just generally as a theme, and so living in a sort of Dungeons and Dragons type world would be pretty epic, as long as I didn't have to get too involved with the monster slaying. Just occasionally, maybe on a Sunday. But I'm not venturing it. Yeah, I'll go Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm going to be like Hot Pie in Game of Thrones. All right? The shit's going on around me, and it's cool to watch, but I'm just going to stay in there and, bake some delicious pastries. And maybe occasionally get involved in fun adventures. Maybe Lord of the Rings. Or that's quite doomy gloomy, isn't it? But they won, so yeah. Lord of the Rings, or not Game of Thrones, but Dungeons and Dragons, but as a Hot Pie, right? Okay. Thank you very much, George. Zach says, what was the first dog you ever owned? When we had a dog when I was little, the first dog that I remember was a mix of about 100, like Heinz, about 100 varieties of dog, mainly sort of Labradory, Retrievery, this was back in the days when people didn't have gates and people let their dogs out, and he would come and collect me and my brother and my sisters from school. His name was Wooly. At 3 o'clock, he'd walk to our local school. It's only like 5 minutes away. Wait outside the gates for us, and then we'd walk home with it. That Wooly, he was a dude. And then we had some 2 miniature poodles, one of which was blind, and they both had an amazing life. And he lived Coco and Poochie. Coco was the one that was blind, and he was amazing. He just learns where everything is, and he could charge around the house like you wouldn't even know. As kids, we used to sort of move the odd chair just for funsies. But yeah, we're just evil people. Okay, we've hit 32 minutes. Do I just go on and then people can just stop watching if they want to? We'll do a few more. How many games do you get? How many games, so this is from Matthew Whittaker, how many games do you get to go to of your beloved Liverpool? And if you could get to any match, who would you want to see them face? Not very many. I haven't been for a few years now. Just not had... I'm happy. I know people see it as, they're the hardcore fans, and I'm not going to argue with out-of-towners and people that just watch their team on the telly and whether they're as much of a supporter as the person that goes to the ground and all that sort of stuff. I'm quite happy being an armchair fan. I've been to see them maybe 20 times. I'm not saying I haven't, especially, when in my younger days, we couldn't travel to Liverpool from Bournemouth because nobody wanted to take me. But I used to go and see them every year when they used to play against Southampton. But I've travelled up Tranfield a few times and stuff like that. But it's a great experience. But I like watching football on the telly. I'm just going to say it. I'm an armchair fan and I'm proud. All right, shouldn't be ashamed of ourselves, guys, that just like to watch it on the telly. Okay, we've got one more question. Let me find a goodie. Oh, okay. Do we want to go football? I just want to keep on doing questions. Who is your favourite footballer who is now retired and another still playing? And that is from Alfie Hoy. John Barnes, greatest footballer in the world ever, and rapper. And one that's still playing. Like, there's some players I really love in the current Liverpool team, but there's nobody that really jumps out at me like the days of, like, Sammy Hippier and Gerrard and Torres. I loved a bit of Torres action. So it's probably not. I love... fucking hell, I've forgotten his name. Can't love him that much if I've forgotten his name, can I? Old age, my friends. You've got this to look forward to. Memory's gone. It's like it's like Windows 95 in there, and it's trying to find a file. You've hit search, and it's just like, give me a minute. I'll just find that on your hard drive for you, sir. I'm just scanning the hard drive now. God, Okazaki. There we go. See, get it. It's eventually, it's just you've got the loading bit. Okazaki. I like players. He's a striker for Leicester. I really like any players that play football with a smile on their face. Son for Tottenham is very similar. They realise that I don't get why footballers are so grumpy. Like they're playing football for a living, earning a shit ton of money and living the dream of 95% of men. And they just seem to be grumpy. Why can't you play with a smile on your face? At any time somebody plays with a smile on their face, I'm happy to see them. Okay, we're going to end up... We've got 2 more questions, and then we'll end up. So, Marco Cepeda says, what did you get in your GCSEs? Sorry, that was... I completely forget to thank everyone. That was Alfie, I said that, didn't I? You can tell I don't do these Q&As often. I find Q&As, they're really interesting, but you don't do them too regularly, because then it's the same old shitty questions, isn't it? So, he says, what did you get in your GCSEs, and how much of an impact did they make on your life? I'm doing mine this year, and I'm interested in how important they really are and if I should stress out about... Okay, we'll end on this question because I've got quite a funny story about my GCSEs. So, from a very young age in school, and I've still got my reports, if you go back and look, in pretty much every subject, it says John, that's me, Jon, for the people that type my name in Jon. It's not John, it's Jon. Not short for Jonathan, just Jon. My parents are weird. And they all say, in every subject, from the ages of 6 upwards, he's a really bright boy, but he just doesn't seem to care. He'd do so well if he tried. And it's word for word, every teacher said that about me growing up, right? And I guess that's part of not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. And my brain is like, well, I'm not going to put effort into that. I'm not, I don't want to do that. Why do I want to do algebra? I don't plan on using this. I'm not going to learn it for the sake of it. So that happened all throughout my life. And then 11 years old, you get to the senior school, and same thing. Just sort of coasted through, do homework at lunchtime the day of, all that sort of stuff. Don't worry about tests and shit, and just sort of skirted through, really. Didn't really enjoy school. I was the neutral. I wasn't really bullied, but I definitely wasn't a cool kid, and I was happy because I found that the nerdy kids that got bullied, I got on better with them because I just found them more interesting. And so I wasn't really bullied or anything, but school was kind of indifferent to me. And anyway, so it got to the age, I think it was, so we take our GCSEs at 16, and then you do a mock exam at 15 to see how well you do and what you need to improve upon, blah, blah, blah. And in my mock exams, I was told that I was going to get a bunch of D's, me's, and some F's, which is bad. It's bad. If you don't know the alphabet, that's bad. A is good. F is bad. And I wasn't bothered. And then I fancied a girl in science class. So then I put on my special try-hard hat. She literally joined from another school with about 3 months to go before the GCSE. So in science, I got a C, which is a passable grade, when I was told I was going to get an F. And nowadays, I find science fascinating. And all the rest, I have no idea. And this is where the story comes in. So it was, I didn't get any Fs, I think, but it was like C, Ds, and Es, right? Really bad. Nothing useful to get into college or anything, but I never planned to go to college, so that wasn't a big deal for me. I went straight into work. Years later, and because I I was doing shitty jobs. When I left work, my first job was doing a bit of welding, and I went from little crappy job to crappy job where nobody cares what school results you get in because it's like manual labour or just crappy data entry or something like that. It wasn't until I went to Jersey and became an accountant that one of my first big job interviews was with Ernst & Young, a giant accounting. And of course, they want to look at your CV, they want to know your grades and all that like that. And I honestly had no idea. Like, I couldn't remember. I didn't have my board. It wasn't all on. You couldn't check it online and stuff. I didn't have my grade sheet anymore because I didn't give a shit about school. So I kind of just lied. Well, yeah, I lied, but they weren't. I knew they weren't the grades I got, but I honestly didn't know what. But I was not going to put. I think I got D's and some E's and an F. I put 4 A's, 3 B's, and 2 C's. I didn't want to go. If I'm gonna, I know I could just say 9 A's, but. I don't want to go overboard. So I just put, 4 A's in the good subjects for things like accountancy, like maths, English, literature, English language, that sort of thing. And that was fine. Got the job. All was good in the world. It wasn't until I got, and I worked at Ernst & Young for about 3 years. It wasn't until I went to my next job. They asked me about my... at this point, it was just on my CV. That was going to be my results for the rest of my life. 4 A's, 3 B's, 2 C's. Good job stuff, right? Then I went to my next interview, and they said, "Oh, hi, John, can we get the address of your old school? Because, we just need to do some background checks." And I'm like, shit, they're going to find out that my results aren't quite as good as I said they were. But, at this point, it's a bit too late. I've got to tell them. And so I told them. And about 2 days later, they came back to me and said, we'd like to offer you the job. And I'm like, okay, weird. They said, oh, interestingly, we went to your school, the Grange, as it was then, and they haven't got records for that year. There is no record anywhere of what my results are. So now, it's 9 A's, boys. 9 A's. A stars. Didn't have A stars back then. 9 A's. There is no record of what my school results were, because apparently how shit my school was, it was a pretty shit school, to be fair. There was no online databases, because, I'm old. And, yeah, so there is no way of checking my score, my actual exam results. So, yeah, I can just say what they are, depending on the job I'm going for. So, the big thing for me, for exam results, I'm going to be brutally honest. I know everybody says, stay in school, kids. Do your best, get your results, great. And I agree with that to a certain extent, because the vast majority of people now go to college and university, and they need these obligatory results in exams to get you to that next step. So you're not learning for the sake of being more intelligent and knowing more stuff. You're learning to pass the exam to get you into college, to pass the exam to get you into university. You're not going, yeah, fucking love me some English literature. Yeah, fucking love it. No, you're doing it so you can get the result to get you there. So if you're planning to do the whole college, university, A-levels, whatever it is, degree that you want to do for, then you kind of have to go through the process of doing well in your school. At the end of the day, it has helped me in no way in my adult life. Anything pretty much I learned at school. They don't teach you about things that you need to know in school, like finances and how to manage life. All the stuff you have to do as an adult that gets thrown upon you, paying bills, what are mortgages. None of the important information they teach you at school. They give you algebra. What percentage of the population uses algebra in their job? I was an accountant. I never touched algebra. We never went anywhere near algebra. Some sort of scientist, some 0.1% of the population that science need algebra. So you're just doing it to get the exam. But what I'd say is, that's great. If you want to get into university and do a degree or A-levels or whatever, then you've got to try your hardest and do your best at those exams to get yourself into those places. But the good thing is, it's not even close to the end of the world if you don't get the results you wanted. Especially nowadays, more so than ever, I'd say, because it used to be you go for any job and they're all about what grades did you get in maths, what grades did you get in English, all the sort of lessons and stuff. Now, and I know this because I've worked closely with recruitment companies, my nephew runs a recruitment firm that hires IT specialists and techie people, and it's barely glanced at. Their exam results back in the day, what you were like when you were 16, is barely taken into consideration. It's much more about your knowledge, your growth after you left those things, what you did in the workplace after that is what's taken into account more so. So, yeah, try your hardest, do your best. It's always a good idea to have some decent school grades to fall back on, to have on your CV. Always nice. But don't shit yourself if it doesn't turn out as good as you'd hoped. There are a million other ways you can get into the workforce, especially nowadays. It's a lot easier. It's less reliant on those GCSE grades. Like I said, they're more about qualifying you for college than they are teaching you how to live life when you're an adult. Especially, like I said, in the workplace. Right, I think we'll end it now there. So I've 45 minutes, boys. I could go on. I'm only like halfway through the questions-ish. But thank you very much to everyone that dropped in a question. That's very, very kind of you. Hopefully I got to as many as I can. Sorry if I haven't answered yours. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. The Ramble will be back to its normal thing next week, like, just chat about some random shit or not. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.